There's like
And we're
80
live.
seconds of nothing, but okay.
There's always 80 seconds of nothing. That's the secret.
Oh, okay. And then you can pull like funny bits from that for the tag, right? Just
Uh,
like put it at the end.
Depending on what podcast we're doing, I definitely do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Welcome.
Audio secrets. Hey, it's me, Nathan.
Yeah.
I'm here in Canada. I'm in Calgary, so I'm able to be part of this week's show.
Yeah.
The other two main members are on the road.
Yeah.
In Jaipur and stuff. That was days ago, actually.
Yeah. India.
But I
just in
was
general.
excited about that one because it's a sister city of Calgary.
That's true.
And,
Yep.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they have what was it? The Pink Panthers or something?
Yeah, it's a kabaddi team, which is like competitive tag.
Yeah.
And it's just something that doesn't really happen over here, but it's interesting.
What was their team name though? It was like the Pink Tigers.
It's the Pink Panthers.
It is
Pink
the Pink
Panthers.
Panthers? Okay.
Yeah, so it's like the Peter Sellers film franchise, but not at all. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It's just a sports team.
That's pretty great. Yeah.
And John is in America?
Yeah,
right?
I believe it's a TRG trip, so like a work trip for him, essentially.
Yeah.
Yep.
The United States.
Yep.
So yeah. But I'm here. I'm Nathan. I'm not here very much, but I was a co-founder of the show like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm still allowed to be here sometimes. So yeah.
I mean, if I remember, we invite you every week, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. So
yeah, I just feel weirdly stressed out about like I'm playing GTA 5, but do I have anything new to say? It's like no, not really. So,
yeah.
I didn't visit that time.
I'm having that problem more and more, like all the time. Where, like this week, I played Dead Space or whatever, and it's just like, do I have anything really new to say about it? No, but that's the thing I did.
But in the framework of like, there's a remaster coming out or a reboot or something, right? In January.
Yeah, you know what? Okay. This is a top-down perspective for October 13th. I'm Paul.
And I'm Nathan.
Okay. What we've been playing, but blah, 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 music. Yes, I'm playing through the Dead Space games because Callisto Protocol comes out in December, and the remake comes out in January. So I kind of want to catch up a little bit.
Fair enough. Yeah, I never did finish that third game.
I never even played it, so that's the one I'm kind of like. I
just can't remember if I did. I've definitely installed it like 3 times and had it around, but I don't remember if I played a little bit of it and went or if I just didn't even bother. But yeah, definitely meddled by EA to the point where it was sort of a shadow of what it was.
Yeah.
As it went on, it's like, no, more action, more co-op, multiplayer, passes, all this stuff. And it's like, all right, it kind of was a horror franchise. Like, get rid of that, throw that out. But okay, how's Dead Space 1 treating you?
Yeah, it's totally fine. That game needs a remake. It's one of those things where I remembered it more fondly and like, oh, maybe this actually doesn't need a remake because it still looks pretty good. No, there's a lot of jankiness and there's like kind of a lot of garbaginess to it that is like, yeah, you could iron this out and this thing would be great again.
It is some of the garbaginess the turret sections or
okay, those are bad. But specifically the fact that I had to force my video card to run it at a maximum of 60 frames, otherwise I couldn't get through a doorway at the beginning.
It just wouldn't open for you, or it
would open, but I couldn't go through it. There was just like an invisible wall there or something, because it didn't register that the door would open or something, I'm guessing, even though like, visually it happened. And the mouse control is absolutely just terrible in that game. Even with a mouse fix there's like parts where there's this weird fleshy alien crap on the floor, and anytime I stepped on that, it just would revert the mouse back without the fix. So like my shit would go everywhere when I was stepping on that, and then it would be fine on the normal surfaces again. It's just kind of a technical mess on PC anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's on Game Pass also, so I've downloaded it onto our Xbox S or whatever.
It probably plays fine on that, I would assume.
Yeah, but I'm assuming it's like the 360 version, so it's going to be kind of lame. But I got to get those achievements, I definitely missed some back in 2008.
Okay.
So if I ever play it again, I'll probably still do that just for those. But yeah.
What do you remember from Dead Space?
Oh, I remember there's some 0G sections that I thought were pretty cool.
Okay, I hate those because they make me sick.
Okay.
The camera.
The in-universe HUD stuff, like the holograms and whatever for shopping.
Yep.
And you can kind of look at it from reverse or whatever.
Yep.
Also, Isaac didn't talk at all in the first one, and that's how I like him. Just shut up. Don't be a character.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of interesting how they chose to make him a protagonist with thoughts and feelings, and kind of like the big thing is, oh my god, I can't, was it Christine or something? His like love interest or whatever in the first one.
It's the haunted car from Stephen King. It's actually in there. It was a little Easter egg.
But like the whole kind of basis of him going crazy or something and seeing his dead wife or girlfriend here and there in the first game.
Yeah.
They just kind of throw that away for the the second one is very much like, yeah, his name is Isaac, but he's kind of completely different. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, they just made some decisions with 2 that I wasn't really on board with. 1 was always the one I held a candle for, but it might have aged in weird ways. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. I guess the dismemberment stuff too, like I could see that being something you'd want a mouse for, just to like, I'm gonna get this guy's head and like line up on his neck or something. But I've only ever played it with a gamepad, so I can't really. I haven't done that. But it sounds janky, so that's too bad.
A little bit janky. I kept like kind of complaining about this. There was a time when that game came out where a lot of, I think it was just people parroting, because that's what they do in the gaming coverage industry. Some PR stuff of like, there's just like a lot of quiet time, and that's the part that gets like you tense or whatever, and then it explodes when something attacks you. There's no fucking quiet time in that game. You were consistently always being attacked. They're liars.
I feel that was 2, because 2 has this long section where you're going through like a school classroom and the space station and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that part because it felt like, no, there's no tension at all, because it's obviously not going to explode into combat here. It's not designed for it. You could just, it's sort of like when you're in a third person cover shooter, it's just like, oh, I'm in an environment with no cover anywhere. This is a story moment. Like there's not going to be anything.
Oh yeah.
Like it was that kind of telegraph design thing. So I just was like, yeah, there's a super boring section where nothing happens for 20 minutes. That was real cool. Thanks Dead Space 2, but I was a real jerk about that game. So whatever.
No, I remember Dead Space 2 being really good. But
the needle was right there.
We'll see.
Yeah,
that's up next. So
it's kind of. I was reading about Visceral's collapse as part of Jason Schreier's book, like Press Reset. It's about like industry collapses and whatever, like studios getting laid off and everything.
Yeah,
that was one of the chapters, and I guess kind of their migration to being a Battlefield studio. And then trying to become a third-person action studio again for that Star Wars game that got canceled, and then they died. Yeah. So it was kind of lame, because I was in theory excited for that, because I was like, oh, Amy Hennig, the producer of Uncharted, is making a Star Wars adventure. This could be better than Star Wars 1313. And it's just like, yeah, it's canceled. EA has no interest in single player or anything.
Yeah.
But then Fallen Order came out, like, so I don't know. It was a weird time, but. Yeah, those poor guys. Because Dante's Inferno, dude, that was an awesome. No, it's
that. I mean, Dante's Inferno is lined up to revisit at some point. I'm trying to revisit a lot of like those older games that I kind of remember being okay, and I want to see like, were they okay?
I guess I also remember the turret section specifically, because I'm pretty sure there was a really annoying achievement with one of them. And it just gets so fast and stupid towards the end of it, and I hated it. So I remembered it in a bad way, that part.
Sure.
But yeah. Dead Space.
Yeah.
There was a cartoon or something, right?
There was 2 movies. A few books, a comic, I think. Yeah.
Ignition.
2 mobile games, I think, or maybe at least 1 mobile game.
There was like a PlayStation Move port of that Extraction.
Yeah. There's and Wii. It's on both.
It was originally Wii, yeah. Tons of Dead Space exists, but so Callisto is like the spiritual successor because it's former Visceral people. are making
it's the people that made Dead Space originally, I believe. Their new studio.
And it's got like psychic powers or something.
I don't know. It seems from like the little bit I saw from the trailers they showed, it's Dead Space in a prison colony or something, which, yeah, that works, probably.
Okay. It's so like that Alien Guy 3. Pearce movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that. But okay.
Yeah. I am a little bit excited to get to Dead Space 3 and see what the hubbub is about. Depending on, like, if we can make it work out, we should maybe do that co-op. Get it.
I've been knowing that's co-op for years. Like, Sean asked me to play co-op like 6 years ago or something. I was like, all right, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, Origin's gone. That was where I had it installed. It's the EA app now.
It's the EA app now.
So, updated that. And Fallen Order disappeared, but I'm pretty sure it's still in my Steam library. So, I don't know. But that's the one casualty. I don't know what happened. Yeah. But, okay.
If we can work it out, that would be fun. I mean, we played Fear 3 together, so we like the threes, apparently.
Bad co-op sequels. That's our forte, so...
Yeah, that's our niche. That's pretty much all I've been doing, though.
Okay. I've been playing a mess of stuff. I'm trying to think of what the best timeline...
I want to ask you one game quickly, because it came up in the Discord, and we should get out of the way. I don't remember if you played it. The new Monkey Island.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I have played a significant chunk of the new Monkey Island, but then I started getting distracted by squids and octo stuff. So
I think it was
I
Dead
been focusing
specifically
on it.
Was asking, has anybody played that? Is it any good? And I said, I think Nathan has, and I think he's on the show this week, so I'll ask him.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think I still prefer Thimbleweed, like Ron Gilbert's previous game, just because I like that setting and vibe. Like, it has this kind of 80s aesthetic to it and everything. This is Monkey Island, which is solid business. You know, you got those pirate jokes, you got root beer, insult sword fighting a little bit. But I kind of got to a point where it's like the final thing, I guess, where you have to go to all these islands and get keys or something. And I was kind of like, oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff I got to do. I'm going to back burner this for a bit here. Not because it was bad, but it just kind of, there was a like highs and lows momentum in the story, and it kind of hit there's a big thing to do now, and I was kind of gonna put that aside for a bit. I don't know. Sure. I think I like it, but yeah, it was not like I gotta get all of this right now kind of thing. It's a very casual, chill kind of thing. So.
And I think out of everybody that does TDP, you are the most fond of that type of game style. Just like so people know kind of where you stand on that type of game.
There's quite a comprehensive hint system to the point where it basically tells you. I definitely got stuck a couple times on just like, sorry, what do you want here? Oh, okay, I did notice that, but I didn't know I could use it that way.
Does it do the standard like moon logic? Oh, of course, like you would attach the gum to this thing and it would do this dumb shit. Like, or have they been better about that?
I think it's pretty okay about that. I'm trying to think what the obtuse thing was. I might have just missed something like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I had to steal something from a museum, and I somehow got hung up on the mechanics as to how. Right. Yeah, there was one item I didn't understand what it was.
Okay.
Really. Yeah. It's batter, not finished cookies or whatever, crackers. Stupid parrot, but whatever. It's generally like positive vibe, kind of chill out with a coffee and click on some puzzles kind of thing. It's pretty fun.
Cool.
But yeah, the thing that pulled me away from that was the Splatoon franchise.
Sure.
I started with 3. Obviously, we were playing some of that a couple weeks ago. Did you render a verdict on the show? It didn't sound like you were too stoked on it.
It's our TDP plus, so I can't talk at length about it.
Oh, it's a secret. Okay.
I'm pretty.
I won't.
I'm pretty tepid on that game completely. Like, I think it's okay, but I would lean more towards bad in general. Except Salmon Run, because Horde mode is always fun, is super fucking fun. I love Horde mode in that game.
It gets dang hard. Like,
apparently way harder than before. John was saying, like, Salmon Run in this is insane. So some of the quotas they ask and some of the special event stuff, like it's hard to prepare for that stuff. It's so fun. I can't wait to talk about that at length. But yeah,
okay,
that's my favorite part.
All right, I guess I won't get too into 3 then. I've been playing a ton of that though. I'm at 75 hours or something. Yeah,
I'm interested to know about the story mode because I haven't started that at all yet.
Okay, it's kind of like puzzles or whatever. Like it's puzzle platforming. You get different guns and have to make it through certain types of events or whatever, in sort of this abstract space. The music's really fun during all that stuff. There's definitely songs that are unique to that mode.
Okay.
And I guess I got into it because, I got like 100% on everything and really wanted to finish it all. But it's just, it's sort of weird how it's like, it's not really that interested in like a story or a world exactly in that mode. It's more just like, hey, there's a bunch of zany levels with use of these mechanics in fun ways, which is cool. Like, I think I've seen it compared to like the Mario Sunshine like puzzle levels that would happen.
See, I'm like one of the few people that actually says Mario Sunshine is decent, so that seems okay to me.
Yeah, but then you're using kind of the different guns and things to get through them. And then there's also like you got to shoot all these balloons and you're sliding on these rails, and if you don't get all the balloons, there won't be another rail and you'll fall to your death.
That doesn't sound fun.
With some of the guns, those are so infuriating.
I'm sure.
They're real rough sometimes. And then the final, like, sort of like, I guess Galaxy 2 or something. Like, there's certain things where, like, oh, you beat all the levels, now there's the super tough level. And, like, it's going to combine all of the disciplines into one mega level.
Okay.
That thing was challenging. That took me hours, but I got it. And then I get a little bear hat or whatever. So that was, but I guess I've been bouncing around to all the different modes. I've been definitely like my ranking in Salmon Run tanked super hard like 2 days ago because I was like on this one level with like all these grates everywhere. I forget if it's like the fishin', like Gone Fishin' or something, Fission. One of these maps I was super bad at. Just fell apart. But the one that's on right now, I'm doing okay. I think it's the spawning ground or something. But whatever. Ups and downs, like rankings up and down. I've generally been bubbling up on the rankings though, like the ranked games, like the objective types. I'm just shy of A-, I think, which is nice. But some of those I'm real bad at. Rainmaker doesn't make any sense to me. It requires so much coordination to my eye that playing with randoms that are just doing random stuff is like infuriating because it's just like, but sometimes the mistake's mine, but it's just like, oh, I thought we were all going this way, and apparently not, and now I'm an idiot because I dropped the football right there, and they're gonna kill us. So dumb stuff. Have you seen any of that stuff, like the ranked game types?
No.
Oh, you can't talk about it.
No, I haven't because again, I don't actually care about like that like main, I'm guessing is kind of the main focus of what Splatoon was. I like Salmon Run, and from what it sounds like, I'll probably have a good time with the single player stuff. Like that sounds interesting to me. I don't like them like what I would call the main game modes at all. I think they're terrible.
Okay.
If you call them the main mode or whatever. The like
I guess so, yeah, the rotating maps multiplayer stuff.
Yeah,
that's sort of the main thing that's going on, but I generally like it. I only got a little bit of the Splatfest, like the first one, I guess.
Me too.
Camping survival one. Yeah. Desert Island thing. So I'm looking forward to the next one, but by all accounts, it's not until November, which sounds weird. Oh. Like there was an update on my Switch today. It's like, hey, it's Pokemon themed.
Yes.
You know, those starter Pokemon that everybody loves and cares about. That's what it's going to be. And it's like, oh, I thought it was going to be Halloween. And it's like, do you like skeletons or pumpkins or something?
That would make way more sense to me.
I was waiting for that, but oh well. I guess I got to pretend I know what Pokemon's all about.
Oh, okay, well, I got to ask you, are you Team Skeleton or Team Pumpkin?
Oh, man. I think I decided internally I'm Pumpkin. I'm Team Pumpkin.
Is it because you don't like the idea that there's a skeleton inside you that you can't actually gain access to without, like, you know, dying?
I wish I had a great answer. It was just like, no, I just like the color orange. Like, I kind of like gourds. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of like pumpkins.
What about pumpkin spice? Are you a pumpkin spice person?
I bought some Cheerios that are pumpkin spice flavored. So yeah, I guess so. Which really just means nutmeg is in it. Like,
yep,
that seems to be the thing. Maybe some cinnamon.
And like maybe a little bitterness aftertaste or something. Yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, so tons of 3. That led me to pick up a cheap copy of 1, like the first Splatoon.
Oh, okay.
Which led to me plugging in my Wii U again and going down a Wii U adventure hole.
My Wii U has been plugged in for half a year. I love that system. It's like my emulator system for old games and for like Wii stuff.
Yeah. Because it has like all the virtual console library stuff, I've definitely loaded it up with some cheap-ish games recently because the store's closing in March.
Yep.
So I was kind of like, oh geez, I gotta get this stuff before it's all gone. So I put $50 on there, and it didn't go as far as I hoped, but I got 3 Fire Emblem games and started playing the 7th one, the Blazing Blade.
Why that
which
one?
is it was the GBA one. Like, it was the first one over here kind of thing. So I had played that in the past and kind of fell apart on it at some point. So I kind of wanted to try it again. I also kind of have a bit of a bitterness towards that game because it kind of soured me to the franchise. And had I not been soured to the franchise, I would have bought Path of Radiance, and it's worth like so much money now.
Yes.
So stupid, you know. But hey, these are like $8 to get these.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got 2 GBA ones and a DS one on there. I've only played one of them though. I got into XCOM like a couple months ago, so I thought I was like all ready for strategy action.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm fully there yet because like I feel like I can't help but save scum a little bit with this version because I'm like, well, I don't want people to die. That's stupid. Like, that's the whole thing.
I think this is like, okay, here's the offensive thing coming out. I think if you don't save scum in those games, you're a psychopath.
Well, it's too high stakes for like dumb stuff. Like, it's just like, oh, I didn't make like a grievous tactical error. Dorcas just missed with his axe for some stupid reason, so he died.
Yeah,
that's
fuck that.
Unacceptable. So I'm gonna load, and Urk decided to just fight that guy for some reason after he was hurt already. So now he's dead. And it's like, no, he's not. I'm gonna save him with Matthew and run away. You know, like rescue him and run off so that he can't be killed.
I think
just dumb stuff like that. Yeah, it's sort of like making each battle this weird puzzle instead of like an experience or something. Like, it doesn't feel like in XCOM I would like lose dudes and it would be tragic, but it's like, oh, thank God I made it through that mission. Like, I had one sniper left and I managed to scrape by, but I'm not as attached to like narrative stuff with them because they're just dudes.
Yep.
So it didn't really matter. Like, I would get bummed out occasionally because it's like, wow, that was one of my like most seasoned people. It has all sorts of abilities and stuff.
It is kind of interesting because I think XCOM is more bullshit. I feel like XCOM does more. It feels worse to me, but like for some reason I'm okay
they do the
with it.
Fog of War stuff, whereas like here it's like, hey, you know who's on that battlefield.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes units are coming in from like, hey, a bunch of pirates are coming from the southern island or something. But generally speaking, you know where everything is, so you kind of put them in harm's way or put them over there. Like, XCOM's just like, oh, guess a saucer was there and they get a turn now because they got activated, so I'm screwed. Awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
I think you're right. There is like a big difference when it's like, oh, this is the protagonist of a story that I'm just killing, as opposed to this is like a really good specialist. Like, I'll get another one eventually, but it's gonna set me back. So it's
like super early in the game. Like, Florina was just dying all the time, and I was like, well, I can't use this unit. Like, she's too fragile.
Yeah.
But I want her to get experience, but she can't. Like, some of my units just aren't in battle ever because just like, what are you gonna do? Like, what's Matthew gonna do in a battle? You know, and there's not a lot of chests for him to open. Like, he's a thief character, I guess, just for context. Like, he just doesn't seem to have a point in a lot of the campaigns. Like, there's not, oh, he can hack this thing open or whatever. It's like, no, he's just kind of here. Like, I don't know. I'll send him to visit some houses and talk to the people there and get items. But I don't know. I'm still, I've played about 6-7 hours of that. It's something I kind of have while have a basketball game on or a baseball game or something. But that said, it's really hard to focus on anything else when you're playing it. So that's truly background stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, still trying to crack the code on that series a bit. I also opened my copy of Yoshi's Woolly World for the first time.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've enjoyed that amiibo because he's a little yarn Yoshi.
Yeah.
For years, he's just been sitting around looking awesome. So I decided to finally play his game. Have you ever played that? Have you ever checked out Woolly World?
No, I really, really like Kirby's Epic Yarn, like as a chill out game. But
yeah,
I find that game kind of like boring is kind of too strong of a word. I figured Yoshi's Woolly World would be similar though, where I just felt, why would I buy this? Because I'm probably not gonna play it.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I think it's the same team. Like it's the exact same people, and it has that aesthetic thing. I never played Epic Yarn, so this is kind of my first like seeing that cozy, snuggly aesthetic or whatever. Like, oh wow, it's like stitches and buttons.
Did you find it boring?
I find it kind of frustrating because I will not move on from a level until I've found all of the yarn, because ostensibly the whole story is that Kamek, the evil Magic Koopa, has stolen all this Yoshi yarn. He took all these Yoshis from this village. So Yoshi's whole thing is rescuing his friends from this situation. It's not like, oh, I gotta get to the last level and fight Kamek. It's like, no, whatever. I have to save the Yoshis. That's the whole deal.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I will not move on from a level until I found all 5. And there's like a design thing to this game that I just kind of hate. And it's not that it's like, oh man, I gotta turn on invincibility mode because it's so challenging or anything. It is not that. It's just, there's an invisible cloud somewhere in this world. And I just need to look at dead spaces in the design and hope there's a thing there and like throw yarn balls at it.
Well,
and maybe there'll be a thing there.
Looking at dead spaces, I'm your man.
It's, I don't know, something about the layout of those levels and stuff is just kind of making me upset sometimes. So it's for how chilled out that game looks, I'm like mad at it too often. It's weird.
See, this seems more like even in the chat here, Woolly World is chill and then suddenly it isn't. The problem I had with Kirby's Epic Yarn is that there was never any challenge at all. So it was just droning and kind of boring. Like the charm is there, but there's no game really.
There's definitely like opportunity to make it even easier for yourself. Like you can activate these badges with like gems or whatever and make certain things easier. But it's just like, well, me navigating the level to get to the flagpole or whatever is easier, but getting all the little trinkets along the way isn't. And that's what I want, is all the stuff to feel like I can move on. And there's some great Yoshis in there. There's Hot Cocoa Yoshi, and he's great. It's like, I have been playing as him for the most part, because it's just like, what a great idea. This is a fantastic Yoshi. But I don't know. Like, it's something about it is like weirdly upsetting in a way it shouldn't be for how totally like blissed out it seems on the surface kind of thing. The amiibo stuff is useless too. You basically just add another Yoshi into the level. And if you're not playing co-op, you just have like a Yoshi constantly getting hurt and dying because it's like just copy. It's like Tails, but he can't even look after himself, kind of thing. Like
Tails can't really even look after himself, so that's pretty bad.
But he's sort of halfway in the background, like he's not in harm's way all the time
or whatever. Yeah,
you have to like press a button to make the second Yoshi float around and stay out of trouble. But it's just like, this is just annoying. That's the other thing. Part of my biggest issue with this game is the sound design just grates on me in that kind of Yoshi's Island way, where like, oh, Baby Mario is crying, all the egg throwing is like, it's like, just, I'm gonna throw an egg, man. You don't need to do that. I know what's going on. Like, and then Yoshi's like constant straining sound when he jumps, like the like. It's like, this sounds horrible. I don't want this. Like, so it's like, I'm gonna eat a watermelon, so I have a mouthful of watermelon seeds, and then he can't make that sound when I jump. Like, these are the hacks to like make that more enjoyable. So I want to like it more than I'm liking it, which leads perfectly to Pikmin 3, which is the exact same thing. I want to love that game more than I love that game. I think it's the worst Pikmin game. And I've played it before. I've played through it. There's just so many minor little changes they've made to like how things control and how you're navigating that with like the gamepad and stuff. That's just like, this kind of sucks. Like I've played Pikmin. I know how to do this, but it's just a little less intuitive now with like click to throw or whatever. But so I want to play it with the gamepad, like just the Pro controller. So I have that hooked up. But anytime I want to look at the map or something, I have to switch over to the gamepad.
Oh, that's
and like
pathetic.
Scroll around.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that thing. Okay, great. Activate the controller again and get back to it. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't know how the Switch port did things. Like I'm sort of curious about it, but I don't know. I don't know that I want to double down on a game I might just not like very much. So it's like, I bought 2 copies just to see if I like it. But,
it's interesting you say that because we did a thing on Tinykin, which is kind of like a Pikmin style type game, even though it has like a lot of notable differences in that it's a platformer with verticality and like ease of access stuff and on PC and blah blah blah. And I was saying I played a little bit of Pikmin 1 back in the day and I fucking hated that game. Like I couldn't stand it. And Sean was like, you should really revisit Pikmin 3. It's the best one. So hearing you say that Pikmin 3 is like disappointing or whatever, it's like, maybe I won't. I
feel Pikmin 2 for me is the high point. But it really comes down to this one control decision. Like you used to be able to use the C stick to just kind of troop all your Pikmin all around. Like they just go and like a little horn would play and they all are being guided by your stick control. That is gone now. You just have to individually control them, or you can like L target an item and say all of the Pikmin I have, go charge that thing. Which is terrible. Like you almost never want to do that because it's like, no, I'm trying to throw these Pikmin onto its eyeball to attack it. I don't ever want them to just do that.
Right.
Or like I'm going to try to wrap them around something or move out of the way of a boss's attack or whatever. I am like constantly cursing and having a horrible angry time, but it's such a tranquil looking like garden environment and like nice peaceful music's playing. You're collecting fruit. The characters are all super funny and charming. Like it has so many aesthetic things that are like exactly whimsical sci-fi stuff I want. But the act of playing it is just a little too annoying. It kind of reminded me of like Viva Pinata to me, where it's like this looks awesome and looks fun, but it's a weirdly stressful like management game. And why is it that? Like it should not be that kind of thing. So I don't know. All of them have always had this kind of time limit thing. Like the first one onwards is like, oh, you only got so much time each day. You got to quickly do your stuff. And 2 kind of got around that a little bit. If you found a dungeon, you could just go in it and you have as much time as you need to solve that dungeon. Like it kind of lightened up on that a little bit. This is like, oh, I found a boss, but it's like past 5 o'clock or whatever. I better not worry about this because I won't have time to deal with it today. So then you just kind of gather everyone up and go back to the ship or whatever. Maybe you'll find a grape or something. I don't know.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to revisit it. Like I in general am hopeful for like Pikmin 4, and I like the series in general, but something about the little things they've done to this one are just kind of nagging at me.
Sure.
Like, to be clear, the reason I stopped playing with the gamepad is to throw Pikmin in that game, you need to like click and aim and then tap to throw a Pikmin. And I can't seem to like line up my shot well and then also tap it and get that accuracy that I used to have, which is like, I'm just going to line up the thing over it and press A. And I will throw that Pikmin exactly where I want him to be. Like, it's just not happening. So, I don't know. Pikmin 3. It's weirdly grating, but kind of
At some point, I'd be interested if you try Tinykin, your opinions on that as a Pikmin fan.
Tinykin, okay.
What's it's on Game Pass. I mean, it's on everything, but it's on Game Pass. So
Sure. And then I guess the general, like, kind of searching the eShop for treasure or whatever, I kind of was led to these lists of, like, exclusive 3DS games that are going to go away.
Yep.
So I picked up 2. Box Boy, the first one. There's 3 of those.
Yep.
And Aero Porter, which
yes. Yep.
I will probably I'll save that one for last, I guess. I only played a couple worlds of Box Boy. 3 or something. Like, it started to get where, like, oh, these are puzzles now. Like, it starts real slow, sort of like a Pushmo or something, where it's just like, all right, this is a real basic thing. It's really basic. It's almost insulting. But then it's going to start compounding what's going on a little bit. Like, you're basically building these brick shapes into platforms for yourself. I guess similar to my yarn problem, like, I don't want to ever leave a level without getting all the crowns.
Yeah.
So I'll just be like, nope, I know I won, but I totally failed. So I'm not going to move on, kind of thing. Because I want all these little bits so I can buy cool sunglasses and whatever.
Did you ever play Celeste? Like, on a masochistic platformer, did you get the strawberries? Like, is there a limit where you're like, you know what? Fuck that strawberry. I need to be done with this.
I probably should have done that because, I definitely got aggravated with that game. And I know there's tons of usability stuff. You can make that game kind of trivial, I think, if you want to. Yep. I didn't do that either, so I just kind of was like, and like stormed off in a huff.
Okay. I was just curious.
I still have that on my Switch, so I can play it if I want to. But collectitis or whatever. I sometimes get it. And man, Aero Porter, I went into with some hopes because we were airport workers, you know, like, you know, sometimes you're missing the shipments a little bit. You want to get back in it a little bit.
Are you though?
No. But the promise of this game, like, I guess I still have work nightmares sometimes, so maybe I can exercise those demons by playing this puzzle game.
This looks like more like a work time fun though than it did an actual, like, you're working at an airport.
Yeah, it's a puzzle game with, like, carousels and color-coded baggage, and the controls are weirdly infuriating.
It's a luggage game? Oh, weird.
It's luggage. Yeah, your airport upgrades as you complete challenges and stuff.
Okay.
But man, I got really hung up on, like, one of the first main challenges because it's just like, hey, you need to service, like, X number of customers a day. I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right, sort like 2,000 worth of bags or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, I can do that, and that was fine. And the second level, it's like, hey, you gotta get 3,000. All right, got 3,000, but I didn't load the mayor's suitcase first on the plane, so he was pissed off.
You always put diplomatic cargo on first.
I didn't care about that guy. I thought he was I didn't vote for him. I didn't like that mayor.
Totally.
So I was like, screw that mayor. Whatever. I'm sending this plane. No. And I failed the whole day. Like, but it was really not good feedback because it was like, hey, you got 4 stars. You served 3,300 people. But that was a dismal outing, wasn't it? And it's like, no. Just because one guy didn't like the bag was put on 5th, like, who cares?
It's like, what do you mean? I work at an airport in a city with 500 people in it, and I just served 3,000 people. What do you mean that was a dismal?
3,300 people were totally fine with today, and one guy was pissed off. So I failed. I'm a terrible worker. I don't know. It got me weirdly upset, and I didn't understand that it was saying like, no. His bag needs to get on any plane first. Like, not like, oh, his bag's yellow and it needs to be the first on board the yellow plane. It's like, oh, if you loaded a green bag before the mayor's bag on that yellow plane, you're an idiot.
Okay.
He will be so pissed. He'll know.
Let me get this straight. So you're sorting bags, and then the mayor's bag is just a color. And
it's a yellow one, and it's on, like, the 4th carousel.
And it doesn't expect... It just automatic... It's an automatic fail condition, first of all. But it just doesn't expect you to put it in the yellow thing, even though that's literally every other bag.
Well, his bag was the first on the yellow plane, but in getting it to the right carousel and, like, loading everything, I loaded, like, some pink bags as well. But that's plane number 2. It has nothing to do with plane number 4. But somehow he heard, it's like, wait a minute. Someone in this airport got their bag loaded before me? I'm a mayor!
Like, so you're the only person that bought this game, right?
I bought this game under a weird, like, pretense, because, like, this list like said, it's like, yeah, it's the last game Yu Saito put out, and I was like, oh man, Yu Saito is dead. What a tragedy. The creator of Seaman, his last work is going to disappear because it's only on the 3DS. What a horrible thing. I will buy this game. And then today I looked it up. It's like, no, Yu Saito's fine. He just isn't making video games. So he just hasn't made a video game in 10 years. So it was a bit of a relief because I was like, I'm really frustrated with this game and I'm not enjoying it, but I don't want to be mean to his last work. I mean, come on.
But now that you know that he's alive, you can say, fuck you, Saito. I'm glad he's gone.
So bad. Yeah. There's a reason he hasn't made a game in 10 years because this was his last game.
He obviously lost his magic.
Yeah, dude. Oh, your only controls are like, there's 5 carousels, say, and a power generator at the bottom. Press R button and it'll lower like the carousel, like all of them, like the entire right side.
I'm looking at a video of this. Down. This looks infuriating. What a shitty game.
It's infuriating, dude, because you're just like, all right, I gotta drop this yellow suitcase. Oh crap, a blue one's in there now. Yep. I can't load that. And it kind of won't give you the option to just be like, you know what? I don't care. I'm sending this guy's bag to France. I don't care. Like, I want some bags on this plane so it isn't canceled. Like, that's what I want to do right now. It's like, no, you can't load that. It's like, oh, whatever. There's like 4 pink bags and I need 1 more to finish that flight, but it's on the wrong thing and this green one doesn't have any bags on it yet, so it's going to get canceled in like 3 seconds. I need to load it and it just won't let you do it. So I'm flipping out over there. So yeah, a bunch of stressful Nintendo games, I guess, was most of my time. And then trying to make Splatoon fun, because I think it's fun in general, but when my ranking super tanks or something, like a communication error happens again or crashes to the home screen, which started happening today.
Oh,
I don't know if it's the new update or what's going on, but yeah, my main issue with Splatoon is just the stability of it. Like, it seems like too many people are playing this for Nintendo to handle or something. So it'll just like boot me out or drop, like, or somebody went like AFK mid match, so we're just gonna end the match. It's over. So
weird.
It has me looking at like a LAN adapter, because like 1 or 2 times it's been me and it credits me with a loss, and it's just like, no, I was doing so good, and it's like, well, should have had the wired internet.
Yep.
So yeah,
true.
But yeah, video games. Those are the video games I've been playing. I played Splatoon 1 also, I guess, if I can briefly say. There are still people playing that game online, but it's mostly at night because it's like Japan.
Yeah.
So I've been staying up late playing with Japanese people. And the coolest thing about Splatoon 1 to me is that it uses the gamepad to have this like squid jump game while you're waiting for the match to fill up.
Okay.
So like there's like a mini game on the screen for you to like kill the time.
Cool.
Which is cool. It's a good use of that, I guess. But I'm pretty sure you just can't play that game handheld mode. Like, I tried doing that, and it's like, I'll just run around single player, find some hidden collectibles or something. It's like, nah, no, you need both. It's like, wow, okay, I'll not do this then. So yeah, but it's pretty good. I think that series is pretty fun. But I didn't play 2, which might be the high point. People really like that one.
People like number 2s, and then us here, we're just co-op in 3s. That's what we do.
Yeah, skip right to 3.
Yep.
It's probably the best one. Just like EA wanted you to do with Mass Effect. Just play the 3rd one. Don't worry about it.
3. Mass Effect 3 did have a pretty good multiplayer.
I know. Yeah, it was such a weird. That's EA's mandate at that point in time. It's like, hey, where's that multiplayer?
And they were usually pretty good if you cared about multiplayer. It's just that they always shoehorned them into things that nobody cared about multiplayer in those things.
And trying to sell people on the 3rd game in a trilogy just seems nutty. It's just like, what? This is like the conclusion to a tale that's told over the last like 6 years. Why would you just recommend someone jump in now? It's like, well, we need that money. We need that exponential growth.
Yep.
So, yeah, EA comes across as pretty crummy in this Jason Schreier book. Yeah, they're not the best, you know?
Yep.
But anyway, news time, I guess?
Yeah, let's do some news. So again, I say this every time that I have to be the showrunner because Sean's out. Sean is kind of the news guy. I get my news from Sean when we do the show for the week, because I don't keep abreast of any of that stuff, really. So if there's a news here that you didn't want to hear about or don't care about, or you wanted to hear something, these are all taken from the Discord. So join that Discord and put the news in, if it's a show that I have to run, in there. And yeah, that's how that's going to work. Let's start off with Far Cry 6. First of all, it's getting a Game of the Year edition, even though it didn't earn it. It never won a Game of the Year award. It was nominated for 3 awards at Game of the Year things, but never won one at all.
Did Ubisoft consider it their game of that year?
Well, it's just the marketing term for, like, this is the game, or this is the version with all of the shit that we've bundled together.
Why wouldn't they just call it, like, the Gold Collection or something?
Because that exists.
It's just like, oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Far Cry 6 Game of the Year edition is going to be a whopping $120.
Yay! What do I get? Do I get a bust of Giancarlo Esposito?
Well, first of all, the game, the normal version or whatever, just to remind everybody, $60. The new edition of it, Far Cry 6 Deluxe, is $80, and the gold edition is $100. Oh. Yeah, like, literally, there was a gold edition, so your joke...
Okay, they got it already.
Yeah. It's going to have all of the Far Cry 6 DLC content, including some expansion that they haven't even released or, like, talked about, really, except for they released the name of it called Lost Between Worlds or something like that. So you'll get that eventually when that comes out, when you buy this edition.
Wait, is that exclusive to that edition? Or if I bought the gold edition, can I buy that for like $20 or something?
You would buy it as like an expansion to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just that was reminding me of like the Final Fantasy VII Yuffie thing or whatever, where it's just like, no, you got to buy a whole nother game. You got to buy that game again to get that stuff. And it's like, all right, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, thanks. Fuck that. Yeah.
Because I bought the collector's edition on PS4. I can't play that.
Well, that's the thing, is that you didn't have to buy a whole nother game. You had to have the edition with the that's on the PS5. Then you could, I think,
PS5 gets only Yuffie's too many polygons for the PS4. Can't even handle it.
Yeah.
So.
Female characters, man, they take more money and time to develop. So
all those physics and everything, yeah.
All the physics.
Crazy.
Yep.
But okay.
This story was saying that this is baffling people because this game can be bought in stores for like $20. The standard
like it's edition. Now a bargain bin game.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the sheer gall of it to charge me this much for your mediocre Far Cry game.
Yeah,
but
it's insane.
Yeah, hasn't been good since Primal. You know, that was the last good one.
Is that true? What else has come? Primal's the last one I checked out.
People don't really like Primal. I enjoy being a caveman. You know, there's big piranhas in it.
Whatever, but man. Yeah. If you like a Far Cry game, Primal is an okay one of those. Like,
you can play as a mammoth. In fact, you have to in like this side mission. It's janky, but yeah.
So these are all mainline. I'm trying to see what the last actual one. Oh,
wait, so the bonus stuff is all digital stuff? I don't get like a sweet, toy or like VR, like, infrared goggles or something?
No, I think it's just like all the DLC, all the content for it, as far as
an RC car, Call of Duty stuff. But okay.
Yeah, okay. No, not that I can tell. Game Pass released, or what is this? Okay, because of earnings data to Brazilian regulators. With the whole Activision Blizzard merger thing coming up, they had to build a case or whatever. They revealed how much money Game Pass makes and kind of where that fits in their thing. The gist of it is that Game Pass earned $2.9 billion for them in 2021, which is about 18% of their total yearly revenue.
Okay.
Yeah. And nearly 30% of its games and services revenue. So that's pretty big for them. Like, it's doing pretty well for them, I guess. And
I mean, I finally have it. It's kind of novel, I guess. Like,
yeah, that's good.
Might never have played Gears 4 if it wasn't just there, So, and it's fun.
Sure.
It was pretty fun.
Yep.
But that was weeks ago. I can't talk about that now. So
and they have their subscriber growth on here too. So from quarter 4 from 2020, they had 10 million roughly. These are subscribers, 10 million up to 15 million in quarter 1 of 2021, which is just 1 quarter ahead, which is kind of crazy. Quarter 3 of 2021, a little bit less of a growth to 18 million to 20 million in quarter 2 of 2022. So again, a little stinted there. And then it shot up to 25 million in quarter 3 of 2022. So
as a newbie to Game Pass, is there no like annual option or anything?
As far as I can tell, no, but I don't...
We had to like zero in on a 3-month card or something. That was the biggest way to do it that we could find. So
I've just been doing monthly because honestly, I've canceled it a few months when there's like, oh, I don't care about anything that's coming out, or like I'm probably going to cancel it next month because God of War is coming out, and that's going to take.
By all accounts, yeah, it's like this month has been lost to like Splatoon, so it's just like I kind of just gave Microsoft money, like I wasn't even doing anything on there,
and that's why it's making money for them, because it's one of those things where you're going to sign up for it and you're just kind of going to forget about it. You're going to be like, $15 is nothing, whatever, per month, and they're going to be like, yeah, but.
Sweet, thanks. You're not even using our bandwidth.
But there's 25 million of you giving us $15 a month or whatever. Yeah. Game Pass is pretty good, though. I still think it's worth getting. I don't know why I got into this mode of just like keeping an eagle eye track on the things that I'm spending money on for subscriptions. Because 1 month I just got like, I don't know, a couple $100 gone. It's just like, what the fuck is this all going to? And it's just a bunch of subscriptions I let lapse. And like PS Plus renewed that month too. And like, I don't even use this thing. So. Yeah,
I nixed that a while ago. But yeah, it would definitely, that would renew for like the whole year. It's just like, great, I guess I'm on for this again. But like, I'm still probably not going to play Yakuza 5. So I don't know why I have this.
And it's on Game Pass if you want to.
So. Weeding out all of the games that I no longer could play on my PS4 was such a headache, because it's just like, oh yeah, this is here, you just got to resub. It's like, no, I don't own that, like, so this is useless, just get rid of it. Like it took probably 2 hours to just comb through and remove all the vestige of that stuff. So Sony. Anyway,
there was an update for Nintendo Switch, version 15, released a few days ago, October 10th.
It causes Splatoon to crash to the home screen, apparently. I'm guessing, because that did not happen before. But it's probably got some good features, too.
Well, I will tell you, it changed the location of the Bluetooth, registered trademark, audio menu within the system settings. So that is in a different place now. Screenshots can now be taken using the capture button while you in the Nintendo Switch Online application found in the home menu. Okay. And general
so I can just like take a screen cap of my like friends list or something?
Nintendo Switch Online application. I don't know why you would do this, but
on the phone. I have been using that a lot.
On the phone. Okay.
Lately, there was a whole gallery for like pictures or something.
So I guess that's why it's there. And
those,
general stability improvements or whatever.
So you can make your own backgrounds with like screenshots.
It's
pretty fun. Yeah,
nothing crazy, but that's news anyways. Monster Hunter is doing a collab with Sonic Frontiers. There is going to be Monster Hunter equipment and a mini game in that game, apparently.
Whoa, Sega and Capcom shaking hands, hey?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, you can hunt echidna and carve them and make hats, something like that.
That would be actually great.
It's pretty crazy.
This makes sense, though. There's already Sonic stuff in Rise. You can get, you can make your Palico look like Sonic. You can get like little things for your room.
Wait, can I make my Palico look like Big the Cat?
No, not yet. Not yet.
No.
But if you're playing on PC, there might be a mod or something that you could make your...
I mean, it's like that's just synergy. Like that makes
whatever.
All right.
Yeah. So that's cool. That there's precedence for that, so that's not crazy or anything. I guess it's crazier that Monster Hunter stuff is going to Sonic next month.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, hopefully that pans out, I guess. Like, people are mad it's different. People are mad it's boring. Maybe it's good. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah. Sonic. Is Jim Carrey in it? Is he going to dance?
Probably not.
You know?
No.
Okay.
Probably all to do with that game and not the movie. But, I mean, who knows? We could see. They've done dumber things, so...
Sure.
So why not?
I hope there's a fishing minigame. That's what I want. You know, or chows. Is there a chow garden? That would be, throwback for.
I mean, that would fit. Why not? Right? Why not throw that?
Yeah, it's a big open thing. Maybe like instead of Koroks, you're finding chows everywhere.
Right. Exactly.
Just under a boulder or something.
It could actually.
Hey, it's me. Yeah.
Yeah, it could legitimately work. Hey, remember Google Stadia?
Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
Remember how that was, they pulled the plug on that thing? Their cloud gaming?
I did hear that news, yeah.
Well, look no further than to Google for more cloud gaming, because they announced that they are releasing cloud gaming Chromebooks. So you can buy a Chromebook built for cloud gaming, as they say. A new line of them.
Okay. But for not their service then? Like, just for other stuff? Because, like, Game Pass has cloud gaming, if you want.
So, these will have GeForce Now pre-installed. They will have support for Xbox Cloud Gaming. And, obviously,
you play
Amazon
some Forza on there. That's, an option.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, kind of weird timing, I guess, after, shuttering that thing. I was really thrown by, like, it'll come to light why I was checking this, but I was looking at the Ubisoft app today, and they still have Stadia stuff all over that thing. It's like, hey, sign up, you can cloud game with Stadia. And it's like, what? This is dead. Like, you should really update this so it doesn't look super out of touch. Because this is not a thing anymore. But they're refunding stuff too, right? Like if you bought something on there,
Yep. It's kind of weird because I honestly thought that Google was saying, you know what? Kind of fuck gaming. This is like a space that we have no real like foot in at all. We tried. We spent a lot of money. Not working. But here they're like, no, you know what?
Hey, we got this hardware coming out.
Let's go a different route. Yeah. So they're partnering with manufacturers, Corsair, HyperX, Lenovo, Acer, like people that make gaming stuff or whatever. And these Chromebooks will have like 120 hertz high res screens and all like that. So they're like made for gaming, essentially.
Okay.
So, okay. I guess. Why not, right?
I guess these services are still out there, so sure. But I don't know. The only time I ever did that was by accident. Like I accidentally clicked on Forza wrong. I wanted to install it, and it just started playing in a window. I was like, I'm not going to play this with like lag over an internet connection. That's probably 1 million gigs a second. So I closed it.
I did use a GeForce Now for a while. It's legitimately a really good system if you pay for like the premium access or whatever.
Best internet. Yeah.
No, well, yeah, that's the thing. Is I know Sean is like a big proponent of like cloud gaming is great. That's because he lives like near Silicon Valley in one of the most tech places in the world. Cloud gaming is definitely shitty if you don't live in even a main city of some sort.
Yeah.
But I will say from my experience, I had a decent time with GeForce Now, even with like gig internet and like a gaming PC of some sort at that time or whatever, even though it was a little outdated. Doing some gaming with GeForce Now was frustrating at some points. It just felt a little off sometimes. It's just not as good as like playing, obviously, on like a system that is just running the thing itself. But
locally, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This seems fine. Sure, they're going to partner with people that know computers and like are going to make some decent gaming things or whatever. and apparently it's going to support GeForce Now's highest tier or whatever for 1600p resolution and 120 FPS gameplay, which is totally fine for a Chromebook. If you're dipping your feet in, obviously. This isn't going to be the thing that like hardcore gaming audiences really flock towards, I think, because they will just get a gaming laptop and play games that way. But yeah, I don't know. It's okay, I guess. It just seemed like weird timing to announce this. On the Google Stadia train, a game that I had to look up because I had no fucking idea what it was, called Outcasters, is apparently a Stadia-only Battle Royale type game, and they are not going to bring it to any other platform, so that game and that studio, I guess, are dead.
It's just trapped on there. It's going to shut down.
They're just done. So that sucks. I personally had no idea what this was. It looked okay, I guess. Hey, remember Among Us?
Yeah, it's impossible to forget, man. I gave somebody a fresh for their fan art. It was a little Among Us guy on Splatoon. I was like, yeah, it's super easy to draw, isn't it? Just gave him a little, yeah. So yeah, I still see that thing everywhere. There's a cafe near us that has like, draw on a little Post-it note and put it up on the wall. There's so many of those little guys. They're everywhere. So what's the Among Us news?
How do you feel about that coming to VR?
It's awesome. It's a great idea. Sounds terrifying.
I think it's actually a great idea because that game had the problem.
It's a really simple game.
People figured it out. Like they figured out how you do that game.
I'm terrible at lying though, even in text. It's just like, hey, I saw you. You were doing it. It's like, yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I can't act like I didn't stab that dude. So you got me, and then I was the imposter. So I haven't played that in a while.
Yeah.
But so it's first person, I would imagine?
Yeah, it's first person. So there's like a video that was attached here. It comes out November 10th. And I kind of like that, first of all, it is in the like Among Us style. It's cartoony and stuff, so that's kind of fun. But
takes the edge off like a murderer coming out of an event to kill you while you're doing something.
Well, I just really that. I really enjoy adding in the like thing that you can't see behind you, obviously. Like you have an actual cone of vision and you just don't see this giant like map of things going on.
Oh man. Yeah, that's kind of nuts. That'll really change that because it's like, I don't know, I didn't see him. Like, I just didn't see it. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, it's like you were right there. Yeah, but I was doing a thing and you were obviously behind me, so I couldn't see what the hell was going on.
I can't vouch either way. Yeah, right. It's going to be chaos. So cool.
I think it's cool.
We have yet to use our VR again since we upgraded our computer. So
okay,
yeah. It's been a bit since we've gotten in the VR zone. I guess partially because we were trying to like game all the time with that thing, and it's like, man, in the dead of summer in like August when it's like 30, I don't want to wear a TV on my face. Like I feel like I'm gonna pass out after. So it was not a big summer gaming platform because it's hot. It's hot in there. Sweaty.
Sure. Yep.
So the Beat Saber just didn't happen this summer. But yeah.
During winter definitely feels like a better time too. I get sick.
For VR time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In it. Yeah. I was training my mind to not start like not getting sick in it. But then again, like you said, I would just like put that thing on and after maybe literally 2 minutes, I would just start sweating profusely around my eyes. And it's just like, well, I guess we're not doing this because it is 30 degrees in this house and I might actually faint if I do anything in this.
Yeah. The future.
Well, if
I think Super Hot's still my favorite thing on that thing, but I don't know.
Super Hot's very good. If Among Us VR doesn't get you to put it back on, how about the fact that Cloud Gaming is going to be on MetaQuest VR headsets?
So is my Oculus considered a MetaQuest headset?
Yeah.
You know?
Of course it is.
Okay. Because it predates that rebrand.
But now you will have the police coming after you because you called it the Oculus.
Oh, Sorry.
So
I actually preferred that name.
Yeah, Oculus is way better. MetaQuest is fucking terrible. What a dumb name change.
Yeah, thanks, Zuckerberg. They should make a sequel to that movie. I think enough has happened. They should just make Social Network 2.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Where he rips off his face and he's a lizard man. Or I guess he doesn't even rip off his face. He just looks like one, so it didn't really
just kind of like a forked tongue. Like
yeah.
Whoa, what? It's like, no, dude, Aaron Sorkin knows. Like, that's what's up.
Exactly.
But
anyway. Microsoft and Meta have a partnership. So Cloud Gaming is coming to
so I can play
headsets.
my Forza in VR, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. If there's like no information really about what's going on
going to be supported, and
yeah, if I were to assume what they're doing, games that like don't have any actual VR support, you probably will just like theater mode it, right? Like you'll probably
It's like I'm in an arcade cabinet that doesn't exist. I'm playing this video game.
And then games like I don't know if you've looked at Steam ever since getting VR or whatever, but games that have VR support annoyingly just go under VR now instead of like in your normal game list, even if you want to play them without VR. I'm sure that's going to be.
Oh, sure, because some are both, right? Like you can play Tetris without it, or like a Thumper or something. You don't need it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I'm assuming that's what will happen. I'm just seeing if there's I saw Resident Evil in here, so I wanted to make sure here. Okay, no, nothing.
7 or what?
No, it's Camouflage, the developer behind PSVR's Marvel's Iron Man VR, is now officially part of Oculus Studios, as is Twisted Pixel and Armature, which created the Resident Evil 4 port. That's what it said, but it said Resident Evil 4, so I just wanted to see, like, is Resident Evil 4 coming to the Game Pass or whatever? Like, is that what they're doing for this thing, this cloud gaming? And maybe it will, because they're under the same umbrella now, but...
I'm just kind of still, like, hoping foolishly that somehow 7's VR thing will go to PC. Like, just someone at Capcom will be like, oh, yeah, it's super easy. Click. Like, just do that. But nope. So it's trapped on the PS4. I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to buy that thing for that. So,
sure. Yep.
But okay. Hey, speaking of things trapped on a platform.
I was going to make that segue too. How much did you like Final Fantasy VII?
The remake, we quite enjoyed. That was a fun, like, Brittany and I sitting there laughing at our teenage selves, loving that Final Fantasy so much, and playing the HD version. It was fun. It was pretty good.
How much do you like PUBG?
Oh, not. A little bit. It was the battle royale I first got into. I guess the only one really that stuck with me at all.
What if I told you PUBG and Final Fantasy VII had a baby called Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier?
I mean, I remember hearing about that, but then so I think the way that reaction went was like, oh really? Yeah, it's on mobile. Oh, and then I just didn't care anymore. Yeah, I don't game that way. So I'm old. I can't. My eyes aren't good enough to see a screen that small and appreciate it. So and touchscreens, like what? So yeah,
yeah. Well, that thing came out in, I think it was November of last year. Somebody said that. Yeah, they're shutting that down. That's not going to be a thing anymore. That makes sense. I'm surprised it lasted this long. It's actually shutting down in January of 2020.
Was it like sword fighting and stuff?
There was some of that in there. There was a melee combat.
Everybody's Barrett and you have a gun?
No, it was more class-based. So there would be different classes and you would have kind of, I think they were even just called soldiers or something, and they had a sword.
I'd be a red mage and I would have healing magic and like attack magic?
There were things like that, yeah. There were magic of some sort and materia usage and stuff. It was okay. I guess the problem
I'm not a mobile like phone gaming, and our iPad's like old. Not like it would work with that. So it still runs the GTA 5 app though. Remember that thing? iFruit.
Yep.
You can feed Chop the dog on there. and then he gets a slightly different collar. It's terrible.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Bad. Yeah.
If First Soldier was on PC, would you have played it? Like, honestly.
I might have.
Okay.
It's free to play, right? Like,
yes,
it was just there.
Yep.
I might have, because, yeah, my ears did perk up initially, and then it was like, oh, I can't play on a phone. I'm going to be roasted by, like, 10-year-olds, so I just didn't do that.
Sure.
But now it's going to be gone. Can I still get it? Like, if I want to get a taste of it before it's gone?
So. Yep.
Okay.
I thought it was totally okay, but, like, there's something just inherently bad about shooters on phones, in my opinion. I felt that way. Yeah. I played a decent amount of them. I played a bunch of Call of Duty Mobile, and, like, the thing is that they're fine, but why would I play this when I could play, like, the actual thing on my PC or whatever?
I think I was at your old place, like, way back, and played Max Payne on a phone. And I was like, what is this?
That sounds
This
right,
is insane that this is a thing that happened.
Yeah.
And I love that game, but I was just like, I can't play this. Like, this is so janky and weird. Like, it's cool, it's running. Like, I was playing this on a full tilt Xbox or like my PC, and now it's just here in my pocket, but I don't know. Like, or even in that GTA app, there's all sorts of stuff. It's like, hey, you want to play Vice City Stories? And it's like, I don't know. No, kind of, but not like this.
Right.
So, yeah. PSP. You gotta get that stick.
Yep.
Then you can play it.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah.
Final bit of news here. It's actually good that you're here, because I think you're the only other person that does CDP that actually uses Steam more than, like, once every year or something. And you're probably the only other one who has used the Steam application on your phone.
I have. I've bought stuff on it before, like during the sale or something. I just be like, oh yeah, and then I load that up,
and then I download. I've used it at work, and then like downloaded the game on my PC at home by just hitting the download remotely or whatever.
Yeah,
that's good shit.
They've made it less awful. Like, it was kind of janky.
That app has been absolutely fucking terrible. The news here is that they redid it, and now it's kind of just like any other app that you would expect to do things functionally.
It has a security feature that I turned on without really thinking about it. Like, it's like scan your QR code to like log in, which sure, but I've never been that worried about my like security of my library here at home. And now it's gonna make like Brittany and I share the computer and like some of our library and stuff. Like, this might have been a bad move on my part.
It might be better though, because you can quickly just do it rather than having to go into this janky app that doesn't even give you a code on the main screen. You have to go to like two-factor authentication and then you get the code. Like this way you just scan the thing and it's done. So it might be better. Who knows?
I think also what I did though was like, hey, do you want to allow this thing to like record video and stuff? And I'm like, no. But because I said no, now it can't use the camera to scan the QR code. So
yeah, you'll just have to turn that on in your permissions in your settings.
I guess so. Yeah. But then Steam's gonna record me like all the time while I'm just sitting there.
They will learn everything about you.
I think they know a lot already, but they're gonna know more, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Sure.
But hey, good old Gaben, I trust that guy. He's surely working on like all the games we want, right?
On Half-Life 3, which will be a co-op shooter that you and I will play.
Portal 3, it's all coming. Like they're gonna do Orange Box 2, and it's gonna be this like combo of all of those games.
Yeah,
Team Fortress 3, it's gonna be the Valorant killer. It's coming out. Overwatch 2, more like get out of here. Team Fortress is back, baby. This is gonna happen.
What were those like Half-Life stories or like episodes or what?
Yeah, episodes.
Yeah,
episode 3 is coming out.
Yeah, they never hit the 3 on that either. Yeah, all the 3s are going to be in, ironically, the Orange Box 2.
Yeah, Orange Box 2. It's a funny way to get around the can't count to 3 thing, because they're just going to bundle it all up.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Coming soon. I'm not an insider at all. I'm just making up things, but that could happen.
That's what we do.
I thought about it, so it's possible.
Yep. Very true. That's it for news. So let's quickly do some questions and call that a show. If you want to write in, It is topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter. The Discord channel or John's P.O. Box is still always an option. And you can be like Dead, who wrote in and says, anyone play any fun games during the month of free Ubisoft Plus? No, I didn't. What about you?
I did not, and I didn't know that was a thing. So I loaded up my Uplay today and logged in, and that's when I saw all the Stadia stuff.
Okay.
What like, so it's their kind of Game Pass? Like, it's like
that's exactly
Ubisoft's library?
It's more like EA's Play thing. If you remember.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
only
some of that is included in Plus though, right? Because that's how
Yes.
I got Dead Space. It's an EA partner thing or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess I'm assuming the Division 1 would be part of that. So then that might have been a way for me to play.
Games, like all of them are on there. Yeah.
There's a survival mode in Division 1 I was curious about. After my time with State of Decay 2.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of like, what else is like this? And someone was like, oh, there's this mode in Division 1. And cool. I own Division 2, but I don't have Division 1. So I could have played it this month had I known that. But well. So
I feel like that Division 1 has been given out for free a few times, so
I just wasn't paying attention, I guess. Yeah. That, or I might totally have it on some other platform. I don't know. Because it was a long time ago. It might have been before they left like Steam or something, right? Because they were on there.
Yep.
So I'll check my other stuff, I guess, if I'm gonna do that. But honestly, I'm probably not going to because it doesn't have squids in it with cool hats. So why would I play that?
Yeah. Agreed. He wrote in a second question, and this is a question for Nathan. Has any year matched 2010 for your favorite year in gaming? For everyone else, what's your favorite year in gaming? Okay, I guess I got to figure that out. I didn't think about that.
I'm a pretty staunch 2010 evangelist or whatever, because I just feel it had some of the highest highs of that generation for me. Like Red Dead Redemption 1 came out. Fallout New Vegas, which is a great game. I think that was the year Deadly Premonition came into our lives. Pretty sure, which is a goofy thing, but I like it. And then stuff I didn't even really care about, like StarCraft 2 came out that year. That's a big landmark thing for a lot of people.
2010 is a landmark year for
I was in game retail at the time too, so it just kind of seemed like stuff was sprinkled throughout the year. Like January had Bayonetta and Darksiders come out, and I was like, oh, these are great.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of kept, there was always something coming along. So Just Cause 2, pretty sure was that year. So I think the short answer is no. I felt that was kind of like that generation peaking with like the best stuff coming out that year is how I read it. And I liked it a lot, but
a year that came up from a lot of people was 2017. What are your thoughts?
What was that? Destiny 2, Splatoon 2. Was that year? Because I was reading about it.
I'm trying to not like sound dismissive, but it's the Nintendo Kids year. That's
is that Breath of the Wild?
That Odyssey? Was the Switch year. So Odyssey came out, Breath of the Wild came out. What was the other ones? There was a few other Nintendo. Xenoblade something or other came out. So like it was that crowd kind of. I think a lot of people really liked a lot of that stuff, which is fair.
It's some solid stuff. I was never the biggest Breath of the Wild person. Like I didn't even finish it. I played it on Wii U and did everything up to the point where I saw my friend play. Like I saw my friend beat that game, and then I did everything before that. And I was like, I don't really need to fight Ganon. I saw it and didn't really care. So I don't know. And then Odyssey, I guess I should probably enjoy more, like go back and play it some more. But I beat the core of it, you know.
I looked up a list of some games here. So for you, Thimbleweed Park came out that year. So that might be
that was my favorite game that year.
That might be one in your cap. Nier Automata was there. That's one of the best games of that year.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I don't know out of these games here that you would care about any of these other ones. Really?
Did PUBG come out that year?
I believe yes, it did. PUBG was that year.
I just remember Giant Bomb awarding that over other stuff I cared about more.
Yeah, so, that was also the year that I thought was complete cancer, listening to that Game of the Year talk. I really
argumentative stuff. Yeah.
Really fucking
is that Cuphead came out?
Yep. Cuphead came out. That's a great game.
Yeah. It's a great looking game.
Yeah,
it's not fun. Yeah, it's not very good, but
no, it's pretty good actually.
Yeah, the animation is exquisite. Yeah,
2010 is probably like, I'm trying to remember some other years. 2013 was strong, but like it doesn't compare. What about 2012? I'm just kind of getting a feel for what came out in some years. 2012.
12 was like Walking Dead, XCOM, Enemy Unknown.
2012 is less strong. Honestly.
Yeah, I was looking at stuff from that year recently.
Okay.
So.
Yep.
No, 17 is probably a good year for the same thing. Like that generation would have been mature enough to produce some good stuff. Because when did that launch? 2013. Like Xbox One and PS4. Oh, what's happening? That was just some.
2018 seemed okay. Yeah, I think if you said 2017, I think you can make an argument for 2017. I think you can make an argument for 2010 very easily. Why do I feel like there was another year, like 2007 maybe?
I mean, I remember people talking about 7 a lot, but I just don't think I cared about BioShock enough or stuff like that. Like nothing struck my heart quite the way people talked about, so I don't know.
Yeah, looking here, like BioShock is one of the clear like big ones, I think, for that year, along with Kane and Lynch, obviously. No.
Yeah, Dead Men. Yeah, that was quite a thing.
Mass Effect, The Witcher, Mass Effect and BioShock. 1. Like, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
No, 2010 is such a flagship year. It's actually insane when you look at the games that came out that year.
I feel it was quietly really strong, yeah. Like, I guess the big landmark for that first generation was like 1998. Everybody talks about like Metal Gear and StarCraft and whatnot, but
right.
I was 11. It was okay. I don't know. Ocarina is good, but is it? I don't know. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
it is, but it maybe is aged weird. But that's 1998. It's too long ago. You know, those things look weird now.
Yeah.
So
I think the thing that makes those 2 years strong is that so many different things came out that no matter who you are and like what your personal taste is, one of like your games of the year or like a favorite game probably came out that year.
I feel like I love the Souls games a lot, and none of these years are the years those happened.
Is Dark
Souls.
Yeah,
it's 2011, like 2013 was 14. 2, but yeah,
I
14.
Think. Yeah,
no, you're right. 14. Yep. And then 16 was 3. 15 was Bloodborne. Like, it's just kind of missing all these things. But I like those quite a lot. I don't know if they on their own muscle a year to the top of anything.
Yeah.
But 2015, best year in gaming, because Bloodborne. I don't know what else came out.
Mario Maker. Like, Mario Maker's fucking great.
Splatoon 1. Yeah.
Yeah, probably, right? That was probably that year. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got that squid jump game.
2015 seems like a sleeper hit year. Like, when you look at the list, you're like, okay, there's some good stuff here, but like it's not a year you think of instantly.
Not a landmark here, but it's a solid time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, you got the next one?
Oh, my question. Okay. Suku writes, what do the A's in AAA gaming stand for?
So is this like only wrong answers or joke answers or whatever?
Yeah, I couldn't come up with 3. It's like always Australian, but what do you put for the third one, right? Or I don't know why I'm hung up on Australia, but because money. I was trying to think of a way for it to represent a currency. But
okay,
yeah, I don't really
see.
know. Or the Oakland Athletics, right?
I was going the other way, where like the first A probably is like American something association, because that's easy.
Oh, AAA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what does it stand for in baseball, even? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
AAA baseball. What does that mean? Athletics. Axes.
I mean, yeah. I think this is joke answers. my assumption was always just like when you grade meat, for example, like you grade it by how many like things it gets right, like an A or whatever. So A would be like, I don't know that it's actually.
But in the world of video games, like S is the best. So should there be like Japan, a tier of developers that are like, yo, this is a triple S game? That's how good.
I mean, that was a Japanese thing that came to America. America started with A's.
Devil May Cry 5 triple S.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm pretty sure it's part of the scoring system for combos.
Yeah,
but yeah. But Japan kind of gave birth to the resurgence of video games in the 80s. So it's kind of theirs now, I think. So I'm going to say S is really where it should go. It's always
kind of been theirs, honestly.
And then that would fit with the word service, which is what everybody wants to do now. Seriously, service something. I don't know. That means it'll never die. So
the AAA is obviously always angering assholes.
Yep, that's Pikmin 3.
That's what they're doing.
That's what it did. Yeah, it's a AAA game.
Phantom A just writes in, ahoy TDP crew. In this hypothetical situation, you have to be the main narrator for a video game documentary. Which game do you choose?
Wario's Woods for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, like is this just like what game do you know inside out? Resident Evil. Like or like what?
Oh, you should be the voice of a Resident Evil documentary. Like what other voice has more authority?
Oh, so. Like thousands of people. I could
no, but on that subject specifically, you can just take it from that Twitch day you did with all the games. Just dub that over footage.
Sure.
Documentary. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But if we have to be a main narrator for a video game documentary, I don't know what like my voice would lend itself to. Something like boring and plotting, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Because then, like, if
I'm trying to think of a video game that's like...
The root of this question is, what game do you know enough that you could talk about it? But, like, it doesn't matter. If you're a narrator, you're given a script. It doesn't matter how much you know.
I guess so, yeah. But I'm trying to think, like, what game am I, like, would I be happy to serve as the voice? You know? It's like, no, that wasn't...
And then the question is, what's a game you like?
But actually, yeah, I can't be like, no, that was a super important puzzle game. That's SNES port of Wario's Woods. Like, that's just not true. That's misinformation. So... I don't know. I'm not sure what would be like.
I think
a game changer.
The base for this is: have you ever seen that channel? Did you know gaming?
Yeah.
Like what video would you be the one going like? Did you know? And then just like random fact, because that's essentially what this thing is. And for me, it's probably one of the RE games.
Okay.
One specifically, director's cut specifically.
I guess, yeah, I was trying to think of, like, this is a game, like, I know I like, and I have not encountered a lot of people that care about it, and that's why I chose Wario's Woods.
Yeah.
For specifically the SNES version. Because in my searches on Virtual Console and stuff, it's like, yo, we got that NES version. It's like, that version's garbage! Why is this here?
Oh.
Put out the real one.
You know which one I would do? Sin and Punishment for the N64. Fucking nobody talks about that game. That game is phenomenal. So, yeah, it would be maybe that.
Sure. Something you really zeroed in on and cherished.
And there's nothing out there, like, at all on that game. It's insane.
I know it was like a sought after, like, oh, we wish this would come out over here kind of thing. I think it came out on the Wii console, right? So I got it there.
It did, and then it came out again on the N64 expansion pack for the Switch Online, which is how I revisited it fully, because I only played a little bit ever before.
Okay. Is it Treasure? Who did that?
It's Treasure. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know why anyone would make this documentary, but I would be up for that, I guess. And John obviously would do Bomberman, the history of it. That would be his thing, right?
Has he? He probably has.
Yeah. And I don't have a good joke answer for Sean. What's like only he talks about this game?
Oh, it's favorite? Paradise. Burnout Paradise.
Muscle March, probably.
It's probably Muscle. Holy shit. I would totally watch a documentary where Sean talked about Muscle March for like an hour. That would be the dumbest thing.
Inspired so many Olympian weightlifters. People don't know that. It's really
this
crazy.
Documentary is like hours longer than the actual game.
Yeah. I think that thing's lost to time too. Wasn't that was only on the Wii, so.
Yep.
But okay. This is a huge question, so I'm gonna do my best. Board CO2 writes, I recently read the Higurashi When They Cry visual novels. I wanted to get the original experience, so I used the original graphics, and since the original release didn't have voice acting, I set the volume to 0. I read all the dialogue, imagining everyone's voices in my own head, and it was pretty nice. People usually talk about Japanese versus English dub, but I never hear people mention the third side, turning off the voice acting. It seems that if voice acting is available, everyone has it on, even when it annoys them. Have you ever thought about turning off voices, and are there any games you'd be interested in playing through without them? This question may be weird since I'm comparing voice acting between visual novels, which are entirely text dialogue based, and video games, which have characters grunt when moving around attacking, and often full cutscenes for story sections. I had one come to mind. Okay.
Go.
It's in the Nonary games like trilogy.
Okay.
I played 999 on DS, and that did not have voice acting originally, like the first release. And I got really used to that and really enjoyed it. So when I started VLR, I was kind of horrified that these characters were talking. It took me hours to get over it because I like specifically the kind of Saw puppet stand-in character had a really weird, squeaky, annoying voice. And I was like, oh man, this sucks. Is there a like I was like, oh, maybe I'll search Japanese so it just kind of washes over me a little bit and isn't as grating. But if there was an option to just turn it off completely, I probably would have done that. Like if I could just switch it to like as text appears, I would have probably gone with that. Cause I kind of treated those like books, like the 999. It was kind of more of like a book reading type experience. So that's the one I kind of thought of that I remember having that issue with voice acting. So
Fair. Bad voice acting is just always bad. That's true. Grating.
Yeah, I guess when I'm inadvertently, I didn't even know I was playing incorrectly or whatever. Like that was Disco Elysium now has voices, and I didn't know it didn't before. So I've gotten used to it. I'm fine with voices, but yeah, just that a whole bunch of people fell in love with that game before that happened. I could see them being like, bleh, why is this here? But I'm pretty sure you can turn it off. So, yeah. If you want that experience you first had. But okay, there you go. Voice acting.
No, I always want voices on. I like it more. Even if I hate the voices.
I tend to like it more. Dating way back to like my first adventure game stuff, like I think part of the reason I like Day of the Tentacle so much is the voice performances. I was like, oh dude, this is awesome. This game is like alive. It's like a cartoon. It's here. And then it was like, oh yeah, the CD-ROM version had voice acting, but there's like a disc-based version that doesn't. So that was crazy to me. And then going back to like the old Monkey Islands, it was like, oh, these didn't have voice acting. So I really like the third one, Curse of Monkey Island, because it did have voice acting. And then they did the remasters where there was now voice acting in the first two. So I liked those versions more. But yeah. So generally I agree with you. I prefer voice acting, but that was one case where it was like, kind of had an attachment to this where that happened. So
VGC Kenny writes, what video game soundtracks do you think it's downright heretical to not play the game without, not including rhythm games? Hold on, double negative. It's downright heretical to not play the game without.
Near games have really good music.
Yeah, I think a lot of the experience is definitely like punctuated by the song choices in that game. Those games.
I think, even to the point where when I was doing the like soulless grinding in the first game for like weapons and stuff, I would still just be listening to music. Like usually at that point in games, I'll be listening to a podcast or something.
Yeah.
But I think I just couldn't break it to the spell or whatever.
I feel like all of the Persona games, like that's part of the style, is that music.
Sure. I really like the Splatoon music, but sometimes when I'm going back to single player or whatever, I will be just listening to a podcast over it. brief thing. There's a song in that game I think is amazing, and it's only in the single player tutorial, and you can never go back to that level.
Like, I'm interested in hearing the single player stuff because I fucking hate the like music that I've heard in the main game stuff, and like, I'm so sick of the Salmon Run music because we're in there for hours.
I still love that when like the helicopter door opens, it gets louder. I think that's funny.
It's
like,
fine.
It's like a diegetic world thing or whatever. But yeah,
but it doesn't change.
I've heard that a million times. Yeah, I'll listen to some stuff during Salmon Run too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, man, what a cool track that was. I want to that, and it's just like, no, you can never play that level again. You have to start a new character. And I was like, dumb. Okay.
This is kind of maybe the like casual answer or whatever. If you're playing Tony Hawk games without the soundtrack, I don't know what you're doing.
It's like such a part of the mood piece or whatever, or like it was kind of this punk collection or whatever of the time, right?
Well, there was like some rap in there. There was some like new metal. Like there was a little mix of everything, but it felt like a skating mixtape that Tony Hawk made for you or something. Like I don't know. I don't know.
Like, no, I just love the purity of skateboarding, like the sound of the wheels. That's what I want to hear, and no music at all. But yeah.
Oh, I like F-Zero's sound design. Those games a lot. Like I like those tracks, and I like hearing the weird shit in them.
Oh, there's games I've like totally screwed up though. With like I listened to Weird Al's like Weird Al in 3D during Resident Evil 2. Like just a bunch. I just listened to that over and over. So like that is that game's soundtrack to me, but it's not. So I can't tell you what the music is in that game. She's like, oh no, it's Nature Trail to Hell, and right. So Dare to Be Stupid is playing. It's awesome.
In the chat, the Mega Man games. Yeah, I could see that. That being said, I have played a lot of them with the sound off, listening to podcasts just for fun. So, but yeah, good soundtracks.
But you were committing heresy when you did that, but you just didn't care.
I mean, yeah, there were pentagrams everywhere. So it was part of the ritual to summon the Dark One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, right. With the often proclaimed disaster of Overwatch 2's launch, do you think there will be an Overwatch 3? Or do you think that 2 will be the last one and they will just run with new battle passes until the game dies? That's Phantom Driver.
Yes, they should do that. They want it to be a living service game, and that's how those games work. It's that you can still play PUBG 1 or whatever because there's seasons and stuff. That's how those games work. So if they make an Overwatch
Destiny 2 is getting like $110 thing coming out for it.
Yep.
And Lightfall or whatever. I think the aspect of the story I just didn't know was what was part of it was that Overwatch 1, the much beloved game, was being shut down, which was crazy.
Well, because it's part of Overwatch 2, right? Like that's the thing.
All the maps and things?
Yeah, all of it.
Okay, so it's like, well, this is now free for everybody.
It's transitioning to Overwatch 2. Yeah.
Okay, so if I load up the free-to-play Overwatch 2 on my Switch, where it exists on there...
Did you buy it?
I can... Well, no, it's free, right?
Yeah, but did you buy Overwatch originally?
I never bought Overwatch ever.
Then you will have to put 100 hours to unlock all the characters. That's what they're doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, can I have that like sweet experience Sean was having like 5 years ago? Okay.
Oh, probably not because a lot of
people that
loved
like
Overwatch
Winston
are gone.
Not in it? Yeah.
No, they're all in it, but you're gonna have to spend $40 for like the catch-up pack they're doing or whatever to unlock. It's essentially buying Overwatch 1 now.
And that cowboy is no longer named after like an abuser, right?
Right. I don't know what his name is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you think that? Yeah, I it's hard to say. Like, is this blowback? Like, is the audience gone for this? Like, they've moved on to other things. I don't know.
Arguably, the audience has been gone for Overwatch. Like the
since it wasn't being
casual
updated,
audience,
right?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
The hardcores and like people that play Overwatch are still playing Overwatch and they like it. So whatever. If they make an Overwatch 3, they fucked up. Like they should just continue on this path.
That was something I was trying to wrap my head around, because like some percentage of the Splatoon community was like, why is there 3? Just update 2. I was like, what? That came out 5 years ago. Like from my old man perspective, it's like, it's been forever. You gotta make another game. But it's just like, no, just update it. Just put more stuff in it. That's what Destiny does. And I was like, I guess I just find that weird. Like I haven't adjusted to that reality yet. So I don't know. Like I want Pikmin 4, not an expansion for Pikmin 3. That'd be crazy.
I guess, but I grew up on Blizzard games and like MMOs, so I'm used to the like, World of Warcraft every year I buy the new version of it. Like that's fine.
Sure.
So I'm used to that model. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm more against, not even against, but like I think it's kind of weird that they're doing the whole like, Overwatch 1. Not only is it not free, which it should be at this point, because like that's the old thing. You have to like spend a bunch of time to unlock old characters if you didn't buy it.
Yeah, like weird. Team Fortress 2 originally cost money and eventually was free. You know,
that's what like, they should have done.
One of the early ones.
Yeah.
Super weird way to do it. It seems like Activision Blizzard has kind of lost a lot of support in general. So I don't know. It looks a little dire, but I was never really into these games.
Yeah,
really sure what to make of it. But
sure.
Okay.
And Rasterman7 for the last question of the night writes, have you ever published/posted a written review about anything? If so, what was about? How well did it perform?
Cold Winter PS2. That was a huge one for me.
Okay.
I don't know why I wrote that. I think it was just a time.
It was on Giant Bomb.
GameSpot.
GameSpot.
No, it's GameSpot reviews. I did a handful of like GameSpot user reviews.
Fun fact, those are available on the Pixel Response.
Yeah, I know. You kind of archived those. Call of Cthulhu, actually, Dark Corners of the Earth was probably the review most people read. I'm going to say. Like, people were still looking at that because I think it was a niche enough game. And I only got into it because Greg Kasavin really liked it at GameSpot. And I picked it up on PC and thought it was really cool also. So then it became a minor user hit, I guess, for my GameSpot tenure or whatever. Pretty sure I'm Vice 86. Yeah.
Horror stuff does well too because it's usually a niche audience, but they're rabid, so
it has legs or whatever. Yeah.
I wrote stuff for a site that no longer exists for a while. One of them was the one that I always cite was a review for Mass Effect 3 where I got bombarded with hate for not hating the ending because people were just shitty. I don't know.
They were super riled up at the time. This says about anything. I honestly zeroed in like Beetroot for a year or more.
Yeah.
So those used to exist, but they didn't really archive that stuff very well.
Right.
One off the top of my head was this terrible Ben Affleck movie called The Company Men. I thought that was awful.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, it's an awful movie. So.
Fun fact, you were also on a show here in Calgary, a local thing.
Movie Monks? Yeah. What?
Oh, do you not want to talk about like Calgary Now or something?
Oh yeah, the TV. That wasn't really a review, but I was talking about video games and stuff on a local TV show at Shaw. Shaw. I don't think that exists anymore. I wish I could have gone to the like season wrap up party though. It was like they had all their guests at a party or something, but I was working, so I couldn't go to that.
Oh really? When was that?
This is like a decade ago or whatever. Whatever year Tomb Raider remake, like the Tomb Raider reboot came out. It's like 2013, I guess. I think is when that happened.
I also have that archived on the site.
Fantastic.
So if you guys want to
search that up. Dumb thing with that was like I am credited as like local podcast host, but they never say what the name of the show was, and I didn't know how to like work it into the conversation, so it was a super pointless bit. Like for our purposes, I was like, oh, I should really promote our show. Like we could get local Calgary listeners or something, but it just never happened. So it's like, and that was somebody from Calgary, I guess. I don't know. Disappeared into the ether.
So 2014, yes. Video game podcast host is what they put on the lower third.
It's like, you should probably say what it is. It would really help us out, but it just didn't happen.
That's really, really good. I remember being really annoyed with one of the other panelists that I don't remember who or why, but I remember just being like, man, just tell that person to shut up or something while I was watching it.
Yeah, no, it was a weird like debate shows. It was strange, but yeah, that did happen. That's true.
If people want to search that up, it's there. It's linked to. You can find it.
That's not written, but yeah, it's a thing
funny
that
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I got hate and Nathan got love. That's how that went with written stuff. Okay, that's it for questions. Again, thank you for writing in. If you want to write in, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TTP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, and John's P.O. Box are fantastic ways to do that. What is your game of the week? You've been gone for a while, so give me 2 or 3, I guess.
All right. Oh, man. I'm trying to think like a couple weeks ago. At some point, probably months ago, Gears of War 4. That was real fun. Okay. That was a good campaign. Nice and gory, kind of B-movie horror kind of thing. That was cool.
Yep.
Splatoon 3 is probably this week's winner, despite the crashes and communication errors and that thing that happened with, the salmon run. That was rough. I still generally enjoy it. And a few weeks before that, probably Grand Theft Auto 5, despite the janky old app and having to use that to find collectibles and whatever. Like I had to use a website to find UFO parts and letters and or whatever, the paper. Sure. Just why isn't this in the game? Like, just put this map in the game for me to do this. Like, I'm doing your tedious crap. Why don't you just make this easier? It's like, no, you gotta have a MacBook next to you. We have a mobile app. It's not on there. That map is not available on your phone or tablet. It's like, what? So, I don't know. To be clear, the GTA 5 single player, I never really got into GTA Online. So, I still don't know what that's about.
Sure.
But yeah.
For me, it was Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead Space. Despite its issues,
it's fun.
It's still okay.
Fun. Yeah.
Was it secretly System Shock 3 at some point?
Ooh. For some housekeeping, I think Sean is back next week. Again, don't quote me.
It seems to be a whirlwind trip of India. It's like different city every day, bouncing all around. So probably, but I don't know.
And if he doesn't see some kabaddi while he's there, I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
I don't know if kabaddi season's happening right now.
It is. The Jaipur Pink Panthers played a few days ago. They won 35-30 against the Patna Pirates.
That sounds like a pretty good match. Yeah. It's a close game.
I mean, tomorrow, they're against the Haryana Steelers, so that's going to be
one to see.
A banger.
At the very least, it's such a weird, distinct sport. Like if it's there, I would go see it.
Yeah, why wouldn't you, right?
In India, kabaddi. Or also cricket, I guess, but mostly kabaddi.
Yeah.
That's not true. It's the opposite.
Thank you for joining me, because obviously, I mean, this would have been a 10-minute episode probably of me just chatting a little bit and then going off.
Dead Space mouse control, am I right? And then there you go.
Just like
would
yelling.
You answer the questions though? Like that would.
Honestly, I was thinking about it, and nah, I wasn't going to, because that would just be super, super weird. What are you doing? Do you have anything you're doing regularly that?
Oh, sure. We're kind of, I guess it's a good time for it because it's October. We're doing slasher movie remakes over at OK Video.
Okay.
There's some bad movies on there. There was a lot of bad ones of those. What is the next one coming up? We just did My Bloody Valentine. And then 3D or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're closing out the season with Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007.
Oh, I have mixed feelings about that one from what I remember. So yeah.
Apparently I hated it according to my IMDb review, but I don't remember hating it. So maybe I'll like it more this time. But that's going to be our Halloween show, closest to Halloween. So that's what's happening at OK Video over on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts for sure. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know how it gets around. I think it's on Podvine somehow. I don't know how that happened. But yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I guess like I never really promote this here. We do a Berserk thing.
We're getting back on the Berserk train. We're gonna look at the troll battles that are going on. The parties together. It's kind of like Fire Emblem. Really, you got a bunch of different roles in the party, and they're gonna contribute to this battle. So yeah, that's some stuff coming up.
That is like super niche though. So like I get that one's hard to promote because it's like, hey,
I guess
you
this
really
is a video
like
game
Berserk?
show though. Yeah. Hey, if you really like From Software RPGs, this manga is similar. So that's probably the closest cross promotional aspect.
Yeah.
But also, do you want it spoiled by us talking about it instead of just reading it? So,
I guess the thing that I've been thinking is like maybe if somebody's really into it, it would be kind of fun to hear people talk about it for the first time and their thoughts on stuff or whatever. I would probably
kind of a companion to a reading of it. Yeah, but I'd recommend reading them also if you're going to do that.
Or
and it's
like
very dark,
though.
It's an R-rated manga, so if not NC-17, it's pretty crazy.
I remember some of the Giant Bomb guys doing like this, watching Dragon Ball for the first time or whatever, and I was just like weirdly interested in that, even though like I had seen Dragon Ball, just because it's kind of fun to hear somebody experience something you like the first time. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what this is, even though the episodes are extremely long because there's a lot to talk about in those books.
Are they like over an hour? I think typically, but yeah,
they were worse at the beginning. They were like an hour and a half to 2 hours each. It's
okay.
Yeah, we dialed that back. Thank God. Thank God. But yeah, that's what's going on. Again, I think Sean is back next week. I think there's TDP Plus stuff that needs to happen, so maybe check socials. I'll figure something out about that, and I'll update you guys there. But thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.